In our last session, we read a letter from a woman whose 18-year-old daughter had been ignoring her and making decisions her mother didn't approve of. The mother wanted to know how she could get her daughter to pay more attention to her wisdom. I first explained that children must feel unconditionally loved, and if they don't, they act out. In her daughter's case, with anger, with rebellion, and with tattoos and piercings that served both to make her feel more powerful, to stick it to her mother, as it were, and to win the approval of her friends. Now, back to the writer of the letter. So remember that all your daughter's behavior is about helping her not to drown. It's not about you. I admit it seems like it's about you when she's angry at you, but she's just responding to her own pain, and you happen to be around. Now, there are some things you're doing that help her respond, and it will help you a lot if you can identify those things. For example, you try to control her. Oh, she really hates that. We all do. The law of choice states that we all have the right to make our own choices about what we think, about what we say, and about what we do. Without that right, we'd be nothing. We'd be sticks and rocks. It's our choices that define who we are. The minute we interfere with choice, we destroy everything. The ability to learn, to grow, to feel loved, to be happy, everything. And when somebody tries to control us, we go a little crazy. From the time we were little children, we've had a tiny alarm in our heads that went off when somebody tried to control us. In large measure, that's what the terrible twos is all about. That's when kids realize that they're independent. That's when they finally say, "No, you can't control everything I do." That's what your daughter is saying right now, and she's right. You really don't have the right to control her, especially at her age. She's old enough that your role is only to love her, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. When you control her, all she hears is that you don't love her, and again, she's right about that. Right now, even though much of her behavior seems pretty crazy, she's doing all she can to keep her head above water. And when you come along and tell her to change her behavior, you're essentially telling her to stop treading water and simply drown. You need to see that. She's filling her life with the only forms of imitation love she knows, with the only forms of getting and protecting behaviors she knows. And you're telling her to give all that up. But then, what would she have? What would she do? It may not seem like much to you, but it's the only satisfaction in life she has. It's the only safety and pleasure and power she has. And you're telling her that it's wrong. She is not happy to hear what you have to say on the subject, and you are not being loving to offer this advice. You're not understanding her. Now, I know these are hard words to hear, and in your defense, you have not been doing any of this intentionally. You're giving her all you have. The only reason that you have failed to love your daughter unconditionally is that you didn't get enough real love yourself. Hang on, you're going to figure all this out with her. There's another reason she gets angrier at you than at most people, and we'll talk about that in our next session.